and thanks so much for joining me for this Get Ready With Me. We are featuring my favorite so far of 2024 luxury beauty. So let's go ahead and get started. Starting off with the primer I've been enjoying. This is by Chanel. It is the one that I've been testing out because I'm trying to test all of their primers, but I'm really enjoying this, especially in the summer. And this is their mattifying primer. I only apply it right here in the center, right on the sides of the nose, right here where I get oily in the center, kind of my eyebrow area. I can get oily right in this area, and then my chin. Nice thin layer. It really does help my makeup stay intact and look really nice and smooth after some wear time. So while that sets for a moment, we're going to go in with the eye concealer in 40. This is by Chanel. I have been starting with eye concealer first just because it kind of gives me an idea of how much coverage I need, because this makes a big difference on me when I have that concealed versus not having it concealed. This is a number 71 brush, and I have 3 of these brushes. That's how much I like this. Specifically created for the under eye area. So it just helps this apply really closely to the eye and then also buff it out nicely. Also does a nice job of following this contour. Going in with the Camoflauge Stylo right now as well, 4C. I still haven't found anything to replace the REPHR that was discontinued that I used to use here, but this has done a nice job of replacing it. It doesn't have the same finish, but it's still really nice. It's a little bit more hydrating, I would say, in terms of its glow. Just has a bit of a glossier finish than the REPHR. I'm gonna show you 2 different sides because one is for evening and one is for the day, but I'll also use them kind of as primers of sorts. So if I'm going out in the daytime, we'll do this first just because it's going to take time for it to adjust. This is the SISLEY-PARIS Brightening Moisturizer. And this is the one I picked up in the UK. I didn't pick it up in the UK, I picked it up from the UK. And this one has a multi-defense shield SPF 50 plus PA+++ indicator on it. So we'll do half the face because I wear this every day. And it's sweat resistant as well. So like the Even Up product that I like from Color Science, this also does a great job of staying in place. Some SPF products that are more hydrating can tend to separate in the heat, especially when I get more oily in the center here, but this one doesn't. It stays in place. It has a bit of a filtering effect as well, and it works really well with foundation. So if you like foundation daily, this is a great one to put underneath it. Or if you don't like foundation daily, like I don't love foundation daily, it works really well with just concealer and powder too. It's very, very comfortable. A lot of SPF products have like almost an oily film on the top that I don't love. This one doesn't have it. It sets really nicely. So while we let that set, I'm gonna go in with these Chanel products. This is the number 1 to Chanel, and I love this for the evening. I'll wear this by itself with some concealer and powder. And I have 2 shades, soft pink and medium coral. So those are the shades. I'm going to show you medium coral on the exterior. It does really well there to kind of balance out my skin tone. Really has a great tone for more medium skin tones. So for me, I have a bit of an olivey tone, sometimes even a gray tone that I want to take down. So then going in with soft pink, and I like this for the center of my face because the center of my face is not the same shade as the exterior of my face. So we're going to use it here, especially on this dark spot, which is so much better. Kind of does a lifting appearance too. And really it just goes to like this area right here. And then I'm gonna blend the 2. And if you haven't been here before, I am a bit of a maximalist, but everything is done with a purpose. I mean, I don't have to do all of this, but because I want to see exactly what a product can do and how best to maximize them, I will experiment with them to find the best ways to work for my needs. So some of my goals here are to just even out my skin tone, make it look healthy, and also make it look natural, which is why you might be able to see why I like this for the evening, because it is very skin-like. It doesn't cover up my skin, it just makes it look better. Also, one thing I wanted to show you is I found this product by Jones Road Beauty, and I've been experimenting. I think I did this in a video, maybe I posted recently, but putting this under foundation seems to work well as well. So I'm going to add here, this is their Neutralizer pencil. A lot of you have asked me why I don't conceal under my foundation. One of the reasons is this is such a large area, and depending on the foundation, sometimes it might break up the concealer and then I might have to go in with it anyway. But this has a nice staying power. It's got a, I don't want to say waxy, but it's a waxier consistency than something like the Clé de Peau, which is a more creamy kind of consistency. So it tends to stay in place really well, even with makeup applied. So I'm going to show you that, and then I'll show you the Clé de Peau on top of foundation if you want to apply it on top of foundation. This is also great for minimal makeup looks, something like this Jones Road pencil. I'm not going to blend it too much because you'll see that blending when I go in with the foundation. Okay, so moving on to foundation. The one that I really have been pulling for, although I have to say I still love other foundations by Chanel and Chantecaille, but I've been pulling for this since I got them. And I have two because of course I'm in between colors. I usually am. It's really quite rare to find one shade that works for me. For reference, Chanel in BD41 is my ideal shade match. So these two I have to mix. I have it in 3W2 Hazel and 4C Honey. Okay, so it's been actually a few minutes, maybe 7 minutes or so. My husband brought me home a snack and I ate it. So hopefully there isn't any food on my face or my teeth. We're gonna go ahead though with foundation. So you can see after a little while, this does kind of calm down a bit, but there still is a white cast. And you can see here why I might like this for the evening. It's very natural, very just skin enhancing, but we're gonna go in with the foundation. And this is too warm for me. That's 3W2 Hazel, a little bit light. And then this one is 4C Honey, which is too neutral and also too deep for me. So I mixed the two. I'm gonna use my Shiseido brush here. Actually, I have a couple options for you. So let me mix this together with my Shiseido brush because I have another brush option for you. A lot of you have already gotten this one, you love it. But for those who are looking for a different kind of brush, like a traditional brush, I am putting this over here just so you can see more even face here because I'm going to go over the other side with it as well, but I thought I'd show you the brush. So you know I love this Shiseido brush. I think I'll always love this brush. I have, again, 3 of these. So when I love brushes, I have multiples of them. I also love this for if there is any interaction between makeup and skincare and I get some of that residue, I'll just take this and brush it off. And actually, I believe that was the initial intent, not for residue, but to be able to just polish the skin afterwards to make sure it's completely smooth. But I use this to apply foundation. That's with the Neutralizer pencil underneath already, so it doesn't look like I have to conceal at this point. So another option, if you like a more traditional brush, I've been testing this out and it's really nice. So if I was going to use like a regular foundation brush, the BK Beauty 106. And this is really nice, especially for this nose area. It can get in that, which I think can be one of the harder spots when applying foundation. And then let me add a little bit more here. The trick is to get the right consistency or combination or ratio. I want to get the right ratio here so it looks even side by side. But this one is really nice for stippling because of the shape of this. And that's got a dome shape to it, kind of like the petals of that Shiseido brush. But in this case, it's just one. It's pretty substantial coverage if you want on this foundation, which I like. So you can have it sheer, you can build it up. Pretty versatile and it does a nice job of staying in place. So for me, foundation I wear when I want my skin to look perfected and I need it to last a long time. That's typically why I wear foundation, because I have somewhere I need to be where I need to look polished. Otherwise, I go pretty minimal with my makeup in general, and I really rely heavily on SPF during the daytime and then go really sheer in the evening. But I always want to look like I'm not wearing makeup. That is the goal. But you can see there is a difference between using this underneath foundation versus this under foundation. Much more of a fuller coverage kind of appearance. So when I put this underneath, you can see there is a different kind of a finish. There's more glow over here, of course, because these are glowy products, but there is a bit of a dewier appearance on the skin itself, but it doesn't feel sticky or anything like that. And it is a bit more matte here, having the SPF underneath. So what I like about this foundation is that it does the job of a foundation. It just really evens out the skin tone. And you can see I don't need very much concealer at all at this point. We're just getting a little bit of Clé de Peau here. Honey works really nicely with this combination. Sometimes honey can be a bit, I'm gonna actually do my chin here. Sometimes honey can be a bit too warm if my foundation is neutral or too cool for me. And sometimes it can look kind of peach compared to the foundation if the foundation is too warm. So in this case, this is a nice combination of the concealer and the foundation. They do work together quite nicely. And if you've never been here before, this is the concealer I use in pretty much every single video I've ever made. Well, I'm not sure, I can't remember way back when I started if this was the one I used, but ever since I discovered this, it's pretty much the only one that has made an appearance in videos, either just on my eye area or on my face or some combination, because you'll see me use it here in a little bit to help clean up the exterior. I'm just balancing out this concealer a little bit. You can see I need a little bit more over here. I know some of you like more perfected foundation, so that one will definitely do that. Let's go ahead with powders. Now I have a couple of powders. This is where I go a little bit overboard because I have the chance to try so many. So I think this is helpful, but it's not necessary. And I say helpful because it might be the location I apply these things that might help you because of your skin type, or if you have different needs for powder. Again, you don't need all of these, but I'm going to go in with the YSL powder, the All Hours Hyper Finish. And I like this for the center of my face. Anywhere where I'm going to get oily, it does a really exceptional job of keeping this intact for a long amount of time. I've tried this alongside the Clé de Peau, which I also love, but I have to say they have different properties. So this one stays in place for a long amount of time. It helps really absorb oils, especially in this heat, but it's not as refined as the Clé de Peau. It works really hard though. So if you want a really hard working powder, I would go with this. Clé de Peau is very refined and it looks lovely when reapplied after hours of wear, and it can help makeup look refreshed. I really like that about this. And if I was going in with a more gentle kind of makeup, not as perfected, I would probably set with this versus the YSL, just because a little bit of glow is nice, but when you want a hard working powder, that YSL is very nice. Let's just add a little bit of this first to brighten. Okay, and then let's add Clé de Peau under the eye. So I know some of you like to set under the eye, and this is one of the very, very few powders I would say looks very nice under the eye. I avoid adding powder in general under the eye. It can be a giveaway that I'm wearing makeup is when I powder that area right there. Just because there's so much movement, it's such a delicate area of the face as well. And I don't have oils breaking through there where it can kind of help makeup come together a little bit better. I don't have that under my eyes. So if you are looking for an under eye powder, you might want to try this Clé de Peau. But again, I like this for more delicate makeup. And in this case, I don't feel like I'm wearing delicate makeup. It's very hardworking makeup today. I'm gonna take the Victoria Beckham in Trench, which is very much a staple of mine. I have two of these, one for travel and one for here, where I use this to help neutralize this under eye area because I have redness under there that cannot be really addressed with anything else. Yeah, even the best concealer can move around in that area. And as you know, I cannot go without adding this powder, and I'll revisit this in a little bit as well to help finish Chantecaille's Perfect Blur Powder. It does what it says. It helps to blur really nicely. So because that YSL is so hardworking, I feel like it's not the most natural kind of finish. I mean, it's translucent, but it doesn't have like a smoothing effect to it. It doesn't color correct. This adds some life back to my skin here. It helps the surface look smooth. There's a bit of a glow to it that's lovely. Nothing shiny. It's a texture quality in that it helps smooth the appearance of the skin. And then you can see this brought back some life over here, especially because I had that SPF underneath. Let's go on with brows. Now my brow routine, I think, has changed the most. Well, this powder routine is kind of intense, but my brow routine has probably changed the most since the beginning of the year. So I think 2 products I've changed out as favorites since I found these. So we are going to go in with this Jones Road Beauty brow pencil. And this is like, I'm going to need another one soon. This is how much I use this. I use this on camera. I use it every day. I use it whether I'm doing something really casual, like a no makeup, or a more complete look like this. I use this for every type of makeup. And it stays put for such a nice amount of time, even when it gets hot. And it's really easy to use. I'm gonna have to sharpen this here. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the Babyblade by Victoria Beckham, which allows for more precise, targeted application. Like any bare spots or just like teeny tiny little areas that I feel like if they were filled in, it would help. I'm not looking for anything perfect, but just like good enough. Oh, I should have done this first. When I want a more natural look, I will just go in with a brow gel in light brunette. This is by Jones Road as well. So my brow gel and my brow pencil really have changed. Not the Babyblade, but the Jones Road Beauty. The gel and the pencil really changed my routine. I like this one because it has some lovely hold, but it also is soft, but it has a bit more substantial hold. Yeah, and I liked this one because you can use it, or I could use it on its own. And then you can see more hair there versus just the color. And then I'll go through the spoolie, like there's a little too much there, but I'll go through the spoolie to even that out. But this just gets the brows up and away from the face so you can actually see the brow hairs. The pencil kind of gets them going the right direction, but also can flatten my brows. So I like to see the tops of my brows because I feel like that makes it look a little bit more full. Okay, so you'll notice the brows are pretty full and structured, but since we are going to do more of a full look here, we're gonna go with a fuller brow. So I'd like to balance that out, especially if my lip color is going to be bold, then I like to balance it out with my brows because my lips are quite prominent when I put on a bold lip. So I do have 4 of these singles by Chanel, and this is the one I really have been using the most, Brun Talpa. It's more subtle than the other ones that I have, and it's cool. So that is why I've been pulling for this. I have a REPHR 1 here. Yes, I don't use a primer when I use this shadow because it's really smooth and even going on, I think because of the creaminess of the shadow itself. So I don't use primer, plus it makes it faster, which also is one reason I like this so much. Quick application. It's a very sophisticated kind of glow. More than your typical satin. Like, I'm gonna say it's not a typical satin. It's got more of a metallic element, but it's not metallic either. You can see it's a lovely glow though. Just had a phone call I had to take, so I've been away for maybe 20 minutes. So let's do this. I've got this Chantecaille Rose de Mai Lip Balm. It's really hydrating. This is my everyday makeup. I just put on Brun Talpa and mascara, but I want to go in with the other eye product I've been really enjoying, which is right here. And it's the, oh, where'd it go? Where is it? It's over there. I had to go grab it. It's the HERMES palette, and I know I don't use this pink shade in there, but I love this palette without that pink shade, and this is 01. And I really love this shade here because it's a nice neutral deeper shade. It's a bit plummy. There's like a little bit of brown in there, a little bit of gray. I'm gonna add it here in the external corner just to show you how I increase a little bit of the intensity here, just like that, really simple. Just take, oh, oops, I put it in the pink. I did not mean to do that. But I just take like a smaller, more tapered brush. Let's use this one. I just dipped the other one I was using in the pink, which I did not mean to do. So just like a smaller tapered brush, And then I lay it right there and just kind of wiggle the brush. And I kind of push into the crease a little bit as well. So it deposits product on the exterior where I want it and then into that crease just a little bit. So I'm gonna blend that in a little, but it's very simple. It's almost like an updated Tissé Rivoli look. You know how much I love that palette. Then I'm gonna use this one and then just go over that with a little bit of a glow right there. I'm going to take that BK Beauty that we used for the powder. I'm going to pick up Brun Talpa with this brush and let's blend. I'm going to go ahead with my favorite mascara. Of course, Chantecaille's Fossil Longest Lash. Let's go in and clean up the corners here. We've got Clé de Peau concealer and honey, and I do this because I have some darkness on the exterior and you can see it kind of just helps define the line there, the direction of the eyeshadow. That way you don't have to be so careful with the application. So I'll do this anyway. You can see it just helps with the direction of that shadow. And then I have mentioned how the Valentino is kind of a routine staple for me, and I like to use this before I even go in with a different blush because it helps tie this part together. I'm gonna just use my Deluxe Kabuki here, and this is in 09. I will apply another blush on top of this, but this just helps color correct a little, just gives a little bit of color. Then I can go in with all kinds of blushes on top if I want. I've got 3 of these, light coral. I've got medium coral. Yeah, they look similar on camera, but they are not the same. And then I have here medium rose gold, and I use them all for different purposes. Now, the one I'm going to use is newer to me, but I do like them all, and I like them for different reasons. So as I apply this, I'll explain to you what I like about them. I take the mini Kabuki brush here and just get the bronzer on. I like this one for every day. It's not super dramatic in color contrast to my natural skin tone. So that's why I like this one for every day. It's more natural, it's very wearable, very harmonious with my coloring. It's got a nice golden tone to it, which I love in a bronzer. So I'm just using these separately right now. I love the medium coral. So again, this is light coral. The medium coral is really beautiful as a bronzer. I like that for like a Mediterranean tan because it has more of that corally tone to it, which reminds me of the light there. And that's really pretty swirled together. I don't have a blush like that with that kind of bronzer element to it, but I don't like that one separately. And then I've got the medium rose gold, which I really like for a more tanned appearance, especially when I'm more tan anyway in general. It's really lovely. And I love this shade in the medium rose gold. This one right here. In fact, I might add a little bit today, we'll see. But this one right here, because it almost looks like the bronzer, but it provides some lovely glow to the face. And it's the one that I'll apply right here to make it look like the sun kind of just touched my face right here. Okay, so then let's go in with this blush. Just gonna do like a pop of color. And this too has a nice golden glow to it. I like to use a little on my forehead, a little on my chin. Then going in with just a very narrow brush. Let's use REPHR 23. I'm going to use this lightest shade here down the bridge of my nose. I'm just taking the glowy powder here in the medium rose gold. I'm going to add that to my forehead, right on the tops of my cheeks here, kind of right across the bridge as well. And then my chin. I have a couple of lip products to choose from, but let me just do this here and then we'll go ahead with the lip. So I actually used the Dyson Air Wrap today. I've been using the Air Straight for I think almost every video since I got it. I love it so much. But But I thought, let me just change it up. Plus my hair was a little more on the dry side, and I think the Air Wrap does a nice job. Yeah, the Air Wrap does a nice job on more dry hair, while the Air Straight does a nice job on more damp hair, because you can see some little hairs kind of coming out if the hair is a bit more dry with the Air Straight. But with Air Wrap, it kind of isn't perfect anyway. You've got some waves in there. So that's one of the reasons I went in with the Air Wrap, but it looks really nice too. I forgot how nice it looks. Okay, going in with one of my most used lipsticks so far this year. And this is, how much is left? There's still quite a bit left. It's by Swede. And this one is in Penelope Rose. I still love this one. It's so beautiful. So let's apply that. It's like a Your Lips But Better shade. So this is Penelope Rose. Moving on to more dramatic lip, which has a little bit more staying power as well, in case you are looking to wear something that's going to last a bit longer. This one is the one that you would apply and reapply after you eat. It is really comfortable, nice and moisturizing, but once you use a napkin, you've got to reapply. But it's the perfect kind of daily lip for me, where I am reapplying through the day. The next lip we're gonna go in, I've been enjoying this lip pencil since I got it. It's in Rose Framboise by Chanel, it's 182. And it's because I've been loving the Rouge Coco Bombs, and I like putting a color down first. Usually I'll put a lip liner down that's my natural lip color and then go with the balm, but I've been liking this more bold lip liner and then going in with one of those. So if you're looking for something that's going to remain even after you use a napkin, this is nice, and then being able to reapply one of the balms on top just kind of refreshes it. So I have a few here, let's see. I love Cocoon, I think that's a pretty one. I love Sweet Treat. Natural Charm is also pretty. I have the limited edition Keep Cool that I know so many of you picked up and love. Let's try this, let's try Cocoon with this, because I could really interchange them all, but let's see. Okay, and then since we stayed with more of a pink tone, like what's nice is if I go in with something like Natural Charm, it'll mute that pink a little bit and bring it back to a little bit more neutral. So now that we have more pink, I do want to add a little bit of pink to the cheeks. So I'm going to take the medium rose gold here, take a little bit of this, the pink in there, and then let's add that to the cheek as well. I know, this is overboard, but that's okay. I just wanted to show you all of these things in action. I have featured all of these on their own before, so if you want to see them more on their own, you can check those out. But I'm going to take a little bit of the excess from the Perfect Blur powder and then just buff that in. And that's the final look. I know I used a lot of products at once, but I also wanted to show you them in case you haven't seen any of them before, and also see how they can transform makeup. I think that's really interesting to see how the addition of maybe just a little bit of a darker eyeshadow might really enhance an already beautiful eye, or how different powders in different parts of the faces might make sense, or if you have a certain skin type, maybe only one powder is something that you need. But I did want to make sure to show you as many as I could. And do leave those helpful tips and tricks that you have around these items or any other items that you have. Please leave those in the comments section below. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other, stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.